My wife left our family business for a high-paying job, but I caught her cheating on her work trip. So, I divorced her, kept the business, and our kids disowned her. Now, she is begging to come back, claiming it was just a small hiccup in our relationship. Brenda and I had been together since we were 17. We built our dairy farm from nothing, raised 4 boys on that land, worked side by side every single day for 26 years. She knew every cow by name. She'd be up at 4 a.m., helping with the milking, covered in dirt, and smiling about it. Then, at 52, a friend convinced her to join this cosmetics company, some door-to-door sales thing. I encouraged her, told her she'd be great at it. She was always so good with people. At first, it seemed harmless. She was excited, energized, made some sales, won some bonuses. Then the company bought her a brand new luxury German car for hitting some sales milestones. That's when everything started changing. Suddenly, my wife, who wore t-shirts and jeans her whole life, was driving to the city every week, coming back with bags from stores I'd never heard of, designer clothes, professional makeup, weekly nail appointments. The credit card bills were hitting $2,000, $3,000 a month just on her wardrobe. When I brought it up, she said, "This job is about image. No one's going to buy high-end cosmetics from someone who looks like she just came off the farm." The way she said it stung, but I thought maybe she had a point. Like, I don't know anything about selling makeup, right? So who was I to tell her how to do her job? She stopped helping around the farm completely, stopped asking about my day. When I'd come in from work, she'd be on her laptop or phone, barely looking up. Then, in November, she told me about this big Mexico trip. The company was rewarding their top 10 salespeople with an all-expenses-paid resort vacation in February. "That's great," I said. "I've never been to Mexico. When do we leave?" Her face fell. "Oh, it's employees only. No family allowed." I thought it was weird, but whatever. She'd worked hard. She deserved a vacation. February comes and she's gone for 5 days. I barely heard from her the entire time. Maybe 3 text messages total, no calls. I figured she was relaxing, unplugging like I told her to. When I picked her up from the airport, she wouldn't stop talking about Dom, her new sales director. Dom said this, Dom thinks that. Dom is so driven, Dom's business strategy. She told me he was 43, never been married. Used to be a car salesman in Los Angeles. "He's just so charming," she said, "and he actually listens when I talk about my ideas." The way she lit up saying his name made my stomach turn, but I pushed it down, told myself I was being paranoid, jealous even. I mean, we'd been married for over 2 decades. You start trusting someone after that long, you know? 2 months later, I came inside for lunch and found a package on the kitchen table addressed to Brenda. The return label said Dom with a Los Angeles address. I left it there, didn't touch it, wanted to see if she'd mention it. That night at dinner, she's wearing this new watch. Expensive-looking thing, sleek and silver. She kept checking it, admiring it on her wrist. "That's new," I said. "When'd you get that?" "Oh, it came today," she said casually. "It's from the company, just a thank you gift for all my hard work." "Anyone in particular send it?" I asked. "Nope, just the corporate office. You know, standard stuff." I knew she was lying. That package had Dom's personal address on it. No company letterhead, no corporate branding. He'd sent it to our house personally. I sat there, fork in my hand, watching my wife of 26 years lie straight to my face about a gift from another man. That night in bed, I couldn't take it anymore. "Brenda," I said, "I saw the package today, the one from Dom." She went completely still. "Want to tell me what's really going on?" The silence lasted forever. Then she started crying, full-on sobbing, and she told me everything. It started in Mexico. They'd gotten drunk at the poolside bar. One thing led to another. Then it kept happening every time she traveled for work. Hotel rooms in different cities. 6 months of lies. I got out of bed, slept in the guest room. By morning, I'd already called a lawyer. I couldn't even look at her. Every time I tried, all I could see was her in some hotel room with him. I was cleaning out the bathroom, couldn't stand to see her makeup and perfumes anymore. Shoved everything into a box. That's when I found it, hidden behind the toilet, still in the drugstore bag. A pregnancy test, 2 lines, positive. I counted back the months in my head, remembering the times we'd been together. The math didn't add up. This baby wasn't mine. I stood there in that bathroom, holding that pregnancy test. And honestly, I don't think I've ever felt that kind of rage before. Like my whole body was just shaking. We have 4 grown sons. Our youngest is 19. And here she was, at 52 years old, pregnant with another man's baby. I walked straight into the kitchen where she was making coffee like nothing was wrong, just going about her morning routine. I slammed the test down on the counter so hard the plastic cracked. "When were you planning on telling me?" I said. She looked at the test, and I swear to God her face went white as a sheet. I can explain, she whispered. Explain what? That you're pregnant? That it's not mine? That you've been fucking your boss for half a year? She started crying again, but I was done with the tears. Done with all of it. Get out, I told her. I want you out of this house by breakfast tomorrow. This is my house too, she said, actually trying to sound defiant. You can't just kick me out. Watch me. The next morning was a Saturday. All 4 of our boys were coming over for breakfast like they did every weekend. It was sort of our tradition, you know. Even though they were all grown, moved out, had their own lives, they still came back every Saturday morning for pancakes and catching up. Brenda was sitting at the table when they arrived. Our oldest, Jake, came in first, then Tyler, then the twins, Connor and Brett. They were all laughing about something, grabbing coffee, settling into their usual spots. I set a plate of pancakes in the middle of the table. Then I pulled the pregnancy test out of my pocket and dropped it right there, next to the syrup. Boys, I said, your mother has something to tell you. Jake picked up the test, looked at it, looked at Brenda. Is this... Mom, are you pregnant? She was crying before she could even answer. Tyler grabbed the test from Jake, staring at it like he couldn't believe what he was seeing. It's not what you think, Brenda started. It's exactly what you think, I said. Your mother's been having an affair with her boss for the past 6 months. That's his baby, not mine. You could have heard a pin drop in that kitchen. Connor stood up so fast his chair fell backwards. You're lying, he said, looking at me, then at her. Tell him he's lying, Mom. She just sat there sobbing. Tell them about Mexico, I said. Tell them about Dom. Tell them about all the business trips that weren't really business trips. Brett, who's usually the quiet one, slammed his fist on the table. Are you serious right now? After everything Dad's done for you? After everything we've built here? I made a mistake, Brenda said through her tears. It was just a moment of weakness and it spiraled and I didn't know how to stop it. A moment? Jake said. 6 months isn't a moment, Mom. 6 months is a choice. Multiple choices. Every single day. Tyler was just staring at her with this look of disgust I'd never seen on his face before. Is that why you stopped helping on the farm? Because you were too busy with him? I was working, she said defensively. Working, Connor repeated. Right. That's what we're calling it now. Jake stood up, and the look on his face was so cold. You need to leave, he told her. This is our family's farm. You don't get to destroy it and still live here. This is my home too, Brenda said, looking around at all of them. I helped build this place. You can't just kick me out. Dad built this place, Brett said quietly. You were there, sure, but let's not pretend you're the reason this farm exists. Dad's the one who's here every single day at 4 a.m. Dad's the one who never stopped working. You stopped being part of this family the minute you decided he wasn't enough for you. I watched my boys close ranks around me, and something in Brenda's face just broke. She stood up, chair scraping against the floor. So that's it? You're all just going to choose him? You're the one who made us choose, Tyler said. You're the one who chose a stranger over us. She grabbed her purse and walked out. Didn't even pack a bag, just left. The door closed behind her and the 5 of us stood there in the kitchen, pancakes getting cold on the table. I'm sorry you had to hear it like that, I told them. Don't apologize, Jake said. We needed to know. That same morning, I drove straight to the bank. I'd been thinking about this all night, running through every possible scenario in my head. Brenda's name was on everything. Joint accounts, business accounts, all of it. I needed to move fast before she could drain anything out of spite. I walked up to the manager's desk, a guy named Jeff, who I'd known for probably 15 years. I need to remove my wife from all our accounts, I told him. All of them. Divorce? He asked, keeping his voice low. It will be soon enough. He nodded, didn't ask for details, just pulled up our accounts on his computer. It took about 2 hours to get everything sorted. I moved all the business assets into a trust with my boys as beneficiaries, changed every password, every security question, every login. I revoked Brenda's access to the farm's financial systems, the inventory management, everything. While Jeff was processing the paperwork, I logged into our credit card accounts on my phone. That's when I saw it. A joint account I didn't recognize. One that wasn't on any of our statements that came to the house. Jeff, I said, what's this account here? He looked at the screen, frowned. That's a joint account opened 3 months ago. Other name on it is, he squinted at the screen, Dominic Ferrara. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone. She'd been funneling our money into an account with him. I clicked through the transactions. $5,000 here, $3,000 there, $10,000 last week. She'd moved over $40,000 of our money into this account. Can you print all the transaction history for this? I asked. Jeff printed everything. Every transfer, every date, every amount. I sat there in that bank office, looking at months of theft laid out in black and white. When I got home, I pulled Dom's number from Brenda's phone bill. Our cell phones were on the same plan, so I had access to everything. I sat in my truck in the driveway, staring at those digits on my phone screen. Then I called him. He answered on the third ring. "Hello, Dom?" I said. "This is Brenda's husband." Silence on the other end. Dead silence. "I figured you and I should have a conversation," I continued, keeping my voice calm. "See, my wife just told me she's pregnant. Congratulations, by the way. You're going to be a father." More silence. Then, "What? Oh, she didn't tell you?" "Yeah, she's about 8 weeks along. Found the positive test yesterday. Did the math and, well, it's definitely not mine." Look, I don't know what she told you, but she told me everything," I said. "Mexico, the hotel rooms, the whole thing. So I figured you should know about the baby since you're probably going to be paying child support soon." "Child support?" His voice went up about 3 octaves. "I'm not. We never talked about. I didn't know she was going to keep it." "Well, she is, so you might want to start planning for that." I heard him breathing heavily on the other end. "This is crazy. I never. Look, I'm engaged. I'm getting married in October. I can't have a baby with some random what?" I said, and my voice wasn't calm anymore. "My wife of 26 years, mother of my 4 sons, the woman you've been sleeping with for half a year? That random?" "I didn't know she was going to get pregnant," he said again. "She said she couldn't. Something about her age and, yeah, well, surprise. Biology doesn't always follow the rules." Another long silence. Then he said, "Are you recording this? Should I be?" "I don't want any part of this," he said. "I never promised her anything. It was supposed to be casual. She knew I was with someone." "You're engaged?" I said. "Yeah, to someone from the company. Amanda. We're getting married in October." "Does Amanda know about Brenda?" "No, and she's not going to." "Interesting," I said. "So you're okay with lying to your fiancé the same way you helped my wife lie to me?" "Look, I'm sorry about your situation, but I didn't make any commitments to Brenda. She knew what this was." "What about the $40,000 she moved into your joint account?" I asked. He went quiet again. She insisted on contributing to our business venture." "Business venture? Right. You mean the money she stole from our farm?" "I didn't steal anything," he said quickly. "She said it was her money. It was our money, from our business, the one we built together. But I'm sure you'll explain all that to the police when I file charges." "You're bluffing. Try me," I said, and hung up. My hands were still shaking, but now it was from adrenaline instead of rage. I opened my laptop and got to work. I created a folder and started filling it with everything. Screenshots of Dom's social media, where he'd posted photos with his fiancée, Amanda. Pictures of them at company events, romantic dinners, her showing off her engagement ring. I found their engagement announcement in some industry newsletter. Then, I pulled up Brenda's credit card statements. Every hotel charge, every flight, every dinner. I cross-referenced them with her work calendar that she kept synced to our shared family account. Meeting in Dallas on March 15th. Hotel charge in Dallas on March 15th. Conference in Chicago on April 3rd. Hotel charge in Chicago on April 3rd and 4th. I made a timeline. A detailed, color-coded timeline of every lie she'd told, every trip she'd taken, every night she'd spent with him. I included the bank statements showing the transfers to their joint account, the package receipt from when he'd sent her that watch, text message records from our phone bill showing hundreds of texts between them. When I was done, it was almost midnight. I had a 47-page document that laid out 6 months of infidelity in excruciating detail. I saved it, backed it up to 3 different places, and then I texted it to Brenda's phone with one message. "You have 48 hours to resign from the company, or I send this to everyone." She called me about 30 seconds later. I didn't answer. She called again and again. By the time I finally picked up on the 7th call, she was hysterical. "You can't do this," she screamed. "This is my career. This is my income. How am I supposed to live? Should have thought about that before you screwed your boss and stole $40,000 from our farm," I said. "I didn't steal anything. That money was mine. It was our money, from our business, that you abandoned." "But sure, keep telling yourself that. If you send that file, you'll ruin me," she said, her voice breaking. "You'll ruin my entire life. You ruined your life the minute you got on that plane to Mexico." I told her, "I'm just making sure everyone knows exactly who you really are. 48 hours, Brenda. Resign, or I hit send." She was still calling when I turned my phone off and went to bed. I woke up to 23 missed calls and about a dozen text messages ranging from begging to threatening to crying. I deleted all of them without reading most of them. The 48 hours came and went. She didn't resign. So on Sunday evening, exactly 48 hours after I'd sent her that first message, I opened my laptop and got to work. But Brenda beat me to it. Around noon on Monday, she showed up at the farm. I was out in the south pasture checking fence lines when I heard a car pull up. I walked back toward the house and saw her fancy company car, and she wasn't alone. Dom was with her. They were standing in my driveway, in front of my house. on my farm. Dom was wearing expensive jeans and a polo shirt like he was ready for a country club, not a dairy farm. Brenda looked like she'd been crying for days, but she was holding his hand. "We need to talk," she announced when she saw me. "There's nothing to talk about," I said, stopping about 10 feet away. "You were supposed to resign. You didn't. So now, I'm not resigning," she cut me off. "This is my career. I worked hard for this. I'm not giving it up because you're jealous." I actually laughed. I couldn't help it. "Jealous? Of what? Your affair? Your lies? The baby you're carrying that isn't mine?" Dom shifted uncomfortably beside her. "We're in love," Brenda said, squeezing his hand. "This isn't some fling. We're planning a future together. We're going to raise this baby together." I looked at Dom. "Does Amanda know about these plans?" His face went pale. "How do you—" "Amanda who?" Brenda said, turning to look at him. "His fiancée," I said. "The one he's marrying in October. The one from your company. You didn't tell her about Amanda, Dom?" Brenda dropped his hand like it burned her. "What is he talking about?" "It's not. We broke up," Dom stammered. "It's complicated. You posted an engagement photo 3 weeks ago," I said, pulling out my phone. I'd saved screenshots for exactly this moment. Captioned, "Can't wait to marry my best friend." That doesn't sound very broken up to me. Brenda grabbed my phone, staring at the photo. Her face was doing this thing where she couldn't decide if she wanted to cry or scream or throw up. "You said you were single," she whispered to Dom. "I am, basically. Amanda and I were taking a break. You're engaged," Brenda shrieked. "You're getting married." "I was going to tell you," he said, but she was already backing away from him. I pulled out my phone and did something I probably should have thought about more carefully. I opened the Facebook app and went live on the farm's page. We had about 3,000 followers, mostly local customers who bought our milk and dairy products. "Hey everyone," I said into the camera. "Sorry to interrupt your Monday, but I thought you should meet some people." I turned the camera toward Brenda and Dom. They both froze like deer in headlights. "This is my wife Brenda and her boyfriend Dom," I said. "Dom's her boss at that cosmetics company she works for. They've been having an affair for about 6 months now. Brenda's pregnant, but not with my baby, with Dom's baby. Except Dom's actually engaged to someone else and apparently didn't think Brenda needed to know that detail." Brenda was screaming at me to turn it off, reaching for my phone, but I stepped back. "Dom here is actually supposed to be getting married in October to his fiancée Amanda, who also works at the cosmetics company," I continued. "But I guess he decided to have a little fun on the side. And that little fun resulted in a baby that he doesn't want, and Brenda seems very committed to keeping." Dom tried to walk toward his car, but I followed him with the camera. "Where you going, Dom? Don't you want to say hi to all the nice people who buy dairy products from the farm your girlfriend's husband built?" "Turn that off!" Dom shouted. "You can't just..." "Can't just what?" I said. "Tell the truth? Show people who you really are? Funny, because you didn't have a problem doing what you did in secret." I ended the live video and looked at both of them. "Now everyone knows," I said. "Every single person who buys from this farm, everyone in this community, they all know exactly what kind of people you are." The video was already blowing up. I could see the notifications flooding in. Views, comments, shares. Within about 5 minutes, it had been viewed over 1,000 times. Brenda was just standing there, shaking. "You destroyed me," she said. "No," I told her. "You destroyed yourself. I just made sure everyone else could see it too." Dom got in his car and left without another word, just peeled out of the driveway, leaving Brenda standing there alone. She looked at me with these desperate eyes like she wanted me to tell her it was all going to be okay. "You need to leave," I said. "Where am I supposed to go?" "I don't know. Maybe you should have thought about that before you blew up your entire life." She left maybe 10 minutes later, driving off in that stupid luxury car the company had given her. I sat on the porch and watched my phone as the video made its way through our entire community. People were tagging friends, sharing it to other groups, commenting about how they'd never buy from a company that employed people like that. By Tuesday morning, it was everywhere. The video had been shared to some larger anti-MLM groups, and people were tagging the cosmetics company's corporate accounts. The company's HR department must have been having a field day. I was feeding the cows when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered anyway. "Mr. Harrison?" a woman's voice said. "This is Linda Chen from corporate HR at Bella Cosmetics. What can I do for you?" I asked. "I'm calling regarding a video that was brought to our attention," she said. "A video involving 2 of our employees, Brenda Harrison and Dominic Ferrara." "Oh, that video," I said. "Yeah, that's my wife. Well, soon-to-be ex-wife, and her boss. We take workplace relationships very seriously," Linda said. "Especially relationships between supervisors and their direct reports. There are protocols that should have been followed, disclosures that should have been made." I also understand there's a pregnancy involved?" "That's correct. She's about 8 weeks along, give or take." "And Mr. Ferrara is the father?" "According to my wife, yes. According to Mr. Ferrara, when I spoke with him, he's engaged to someone else, and very much does not want to be a father." There was typing in the background. We'll be conducting a full investigation, Linda said, but I wanted to inform you that both employees have been placed on immediate suspension pending the outcome. Good to know, I said. That evening, I got a call from a number I did recognize. Amanda, Dom's fiancée. Apparently, she'd seen the video too. I actually felt a little bad for her. Is it true? She asked. About Dom and your wife? Every word, I told her. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. She was quiet for a long time. How long? She finally asked. From what I know, about 6 months. Started on a company trip to Mexico in February. We got engaged in January, she said, and her voice cracked. He proposed in January and then started sleeping with her in February. I'm sorry, I said again, and I meant it. For what it's worth, I don't think either of us deserved this. No, she agreed. We didn't. She hung up, and about an hour later I saw her post on the company's internal social media page. She'd tagged the video, tagged Dom and Brenda, and tagged the HR department. She wrote about how Dom had been cheating on her their entire engagement, how he'd gotten his mistress pregnant, how the company needed to do better about protecting their employees from predatory managers. The comments were brutal. People were calling for Dom to be fired, for Brenda to be blacklisted, for the whole sales division to be investigated. By Wednesday, both of them were terminated. Not suspended, terminated. The company posted a statement about maintaining professional conduct and taking immediate action when those standards were violated. And the car, that stupid luxury German car that had started this whole mess, they repossessed it the same day. I actually watched them tow it away from the apartment Brenda was staying at. Someone had posted about it in one of the local Facebook groups. I filed for divorce on Thursday. My lawyer looked over all the documentation I'd compiled, the timeline, the bank records, everything, and actually smiled. This is possibly the most organized divorce case I've ever seen, he said. She's not going to get a penny. The farm was established before the marriage as your sole property, he finished. She contributed labor, sure, but she also abandoned her responsibilities and stole marital assets. Plus, the infidelity is well documented. In this state, that matters. He filed the papers, and I made sure everything was ironclad. The farm, the business, the assets, all of it stayed with me and the boys. Brenda would get nothing. She tried calling me after she was served, but I didn't answer. She tried showing up at the farm, but Jake and Tyler ran her off. She tried texting, emailing, even sent a letter through her own lawyer. All of it said basically the same thing. She'd made a mistake. She wanted to come home. We could work through this. Think about the boys. Think about our history. Think about everything we'd built together. I didn't respond to any of it. Dom apparently wanted nothing to do with the baby situation. He moved to a different state, blocked Brenda's number, changed his email. His ex-fiancée Amanda actually reached out to me to let me know he'd completely ghosted everyone from the company. He just packed up and left, she told me. Broke his lease and everything. No forwarding address. Brenda was on her own. She moved into some cheap apartment in the city about 40 minutes away, and based on what the boys told me, she was struggling. Without the company income, without access to our farm accounts, without Dom's support, she was barely scraping by. She tried calling the boys constantly, multiple times a day. They all had her blocked within the first week. Then, about 4 months after everything went down, she showed up at the farm again. This time she was visibly pregnant, belly round under her coat. It was early morning, around 5 a.m., and I was heading out to start the milking. She was sitting on the porch steps, crying. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I made a mistake," she said. "The biggest mistake of my life. I was stupid and selfish and I threw away everything that mattered for something that meant nothing." "Yeah," I said. "You did. I want to come home." I actually laughed. "This isn't your home anymore. I helped build this place," she said, standing up. "I spent 26 years of my life here. You can't just erase that. You erased it yourself," I told her. "The minute you got on that plane to Mexico, the minute you started lying, the minute you chose him over us." "I chose wrong," she said. "I know that now. I was confused and scared and—" "Save it," I said. "I don't want to hear your excuses." I pulled an envelope out of my pocket. I'd been carrying it around for a few days, hoping she'd show up so I could give it to her in person. "These are the finalized divorce papers," I said, handing them to her. "Signed by the judge yesterday. It's over, Brenda. Officially." She took the envelope with shaking hands. "There's something else in there too," I said. She opened it and pulled out a photo. It was a picture I'd taken just last week. All 4 boys standing together in the south pasture, arms around each other's shoulders, the farm stretching out behind them in the early morning light. On the back, I'd written, "Family is who shows up." She looked at the photo for a long time, then back up at me. "They won't talk to me," she said. "I've tried calling, texting. I even went to Jake's apartment, but he wouldn't let me in. Can you blame them? I'm their mother. You were their mother," I corrected. "But you stopped being their family when you stopped being mine. When you chose a stranger and a lie over everything we'd built together." She was full-on sobbing now, clutching that photo to her chest. "I just want my family back. You don't have a family here anymore, I said. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it. I walked past her, toward the barn. She called after me, but I didn't turn around. I had cows to milk and a farm to run. I didn't have time for her regrets. The baby was born in early September, a girl. Brenda tried to use it as leverage, sending photos to the boys' phones, writing long messages about how they had a baby sister now, how family was family no matter what. Jake responded first. The message was short. That's not our sibling, that's proof of your choices. The other boys didn't respond at all. They just blocked her new number. She tried a few more times over the next few weeks. Different tactics, guilt trips about how hard it was being a single mother, reminders of all the good times we'd had as a family, promises that she'd changed. None of it worked. Then, in late October, something shifted. I started seeing a woman named Claire from the local feed supply company. She'd been delivering to the farm for years, and we'd always had a friendly relationship. After the divorce, she asked if I wanted to grab coffee sometime. Coffee turned into dinner, dinner turned into regular dates. By the time November rolled around, she was spending most weekends at the farm. And the thing about Claire was that she actually wanted to be there. She'd show up at 4 a.m. without being asked, help with the milking, spend the whole day working alongside me and the boys. She wore jeans and work boots and wasn't afraid to get dirty. She reminded me of what Brenda used to be, before the cosmetics and the fancy car and the lies. The boys loved her. Tyler actually pulled me aside one morning and said, "She's good for you, Dad. She fits here." 3 weeks after Claire and I started dating officially, Brenda found out. I don't know how, probably through one of her old friends in town who'd seen us together. But she showed up at the farm, screaming. Claire and I were working in the barn, reorganizing the feed storage, when we heard a car door slam and Brenda's voice yelling my name. "You moved on?" she screamed as I walked out of the barn. "It's been less than a year and you're already with someone else?" "It's been 10 months, I said calmly. "And yeah, I moved on." "What did you expect?" Claire came and stood beside me, and Brenda's eyes fixed on her like lasers. "Who the hell are you?" Brenda demanded. "I'm Claire," she said, extending her hand politely. Brenda didn't shake it. "How long has this been going on?" Brenda asked me, ignoring Claire completely. "About a month," I said. "Not that it's any of your business. We've barely been divorced and you're already parading some woman around our farm?" "My farm," I corrected. "Not ours. Mine. And yeah, I'm seeing someone. Someone who actually wants to be here. Someone who shows up every morning at 4 a.m. to help with the work. Someone who isn't fucking her boss and stealing my money." Brenda's face twisted into something ugly. "You think you can just replace me?" "I'm not replacing you," I said. "I'm moving forward. There's a difference." "What about everything we built together?" she said, and she was crying now. "What about our 26 years? What about our boys?" "You destroyed all of that," I told her. "You destroyed 26 years in 6 months, and I rebuilt my life in 6 weeks because I didn't waste time chasing lies." She looked at Claire, then back at me. "She'll never be me. Thank God for that," Claire said quietly, and I actually had to hold back a smile. Brenda lost it then. Started screaming about how unfair everything was, how I was punishing her, how she'd made one mistake and I was acting like it erased everything. "One mistake?" I said. "You had a 6-month affair. You stole $40,000. You got pregnant with another man's baby. That's not one mistake, Brenda. That's a series of deliberate choices. Dom won't even talk to me," she screamed. "He won't acknowledge the baby, won't help financially, won't do anything. I'm completely alone with a newborn, and you're here playing happy family with her." "That's not my problem," I said. "You wanted Dom. You chose Dom. The fact that he turned out to be exactly what he seemed like, a lying, cheating coward, that's on you." She was still crying, but it was desperate now. "I have nowhere to go, no one to help me. I can't do this alone." "You should have thought about that before you blew up your entire life," I told her. "Now you need to leave. This is private property and you're not welcome here." She stood there for another minute, like she was waiting for me to change my mind, to soften, to invite her back in. But I just stood there, Claire's hand in mine, and waited. Finally, she got back in her car and left. "That was intense," Claire said after she was gone. "That was Brenda," I said. "She doesn't know when to quit." Over the next few weeks, I heard things through the grapevine. Brenda was struggling bad. The baby was colicky, crying all night. Her apartment was a mess. She'd tried reaching out to some of her old cosmetics co-workers, but they all wanted nothing to do with her after the scandal. Then I heard something that actually made me pause. Apparently there were other women. Dom had targeted several married women in the sales force over the years, women he supervised. At least 2 others had gotten pregnant during business trips. One had quietly gotten an abortion. Another had left her husband and was raising the kid as a single mom. There was a whole private Facebook group where former employees were sharing stories about Dom's predatory behavior, and Brenda's name kept coming up. Not as a victim, but as someone who should have known better. Someone who made her choices with full awareness of what she was doing. I felt bad for maybe 5 seconds. Then I remembered the lies, the stolen money, the way she'd looked at me when she told me about the affair, like I was the problem for being upset about it. She showed up one more time in December, this time for the farm's annual Customer Appreciation Day. We do it every year. Big event where we open up the farm to customers, do tours, have food, sell merchandise. It's one of our biggest days of the year. Brenda showed up with the baby in a carrier, trying to blend into the crowd. I spotted her immediately, standing near the barn, looking at the setup like she belonged there. My boys spotted her too. Jake, Tyler, Connor, and Brett all moved toward her at the same time, forming a wall between her and the rest of the event. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see Brenda's face. She was crying, gesturing at the baby, trying to show them something on her phone. The boys didn't move. Finally, Jake said something, and I saw Brenda's whole body just deflate. She nodded, turned around, and started walking back toward the parking area. I was standing in the barn with Claire, watching the whole thing from a distance. "What did he say to her?" Claire asked. Jake came over a minute later and told us she wanted to come back. Said she realized she'd made a mistake, that she wanted to be part of the family again. She showed me pictures of the baby, tried to guilt-trip me about having a little sister. "What did you tell her?" I asked. "I told her she chose a stranger over us," Jake said, "and now she's the stranger." I watched Brenda walk back to her beat-up sedan, one of those economy cars she'd had to buy after the company repossessed the luxury one. She was struggling with the baby carrier, trying to get it secured in the back seat. The baby was crying, Brenda was crying, and I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no sadness, no regret, just nothing. She was a stranger now, like Jake said. Someone who used to be in my life but wasn't anymore. Someone who made choices and was living with the consequences. I turned back to Claire. She smelled like hay and coffee, familiar and real. She squeezed my hand once. "Come on," she said. "We've got customers to take care of." And we got back to work. Make sure to click on the screen to watch another story.